Welcome to the Fire Bay, the podcast where we dive into the heart of the fire service, community engagement, and the stories that keep our world safe. Join Colton every week as he brings you behind the scenes, discuss the issues that matter most to firefighters, share personal stories, and explore ways we can all make a difference in our communities. Whether you're a firefighter, supporter, or just someone who cares about public safety, you're in the right place. This is the Fire Bay.
Welcome back to the Fire Bay Podcast. I'm your host, Colton Young, and today we're diving into something that every firefighter in America should be talking about, how the Fireground is changing. We're not just fighting the same fires we did 10 years ago, between lithium-ion batteries, lightweight construction, staffing challenges, leadership shifts, modern fire service looks and operations, and just to be honest, it's a whole different look. Even from 5 years ago, pre-COVID, things have changed so much. Well, today we'll be digging into what's driving those changes, what's it mean for us on the floor, and how we adapt to keep our people safe in the communities we protect. Let's start with what we see every day, the Fireground. I was talking to one of our newer guys at work the other day, and we were talking about how 90% of calls in the fire service are actually medical calls. Then you get, the 5% wrecks, and maybe the 1% hazmat or whatever, depending on your jurisdiction. And then you get that 3 to 4% that are actually structure fires. And look, if your department has more than that, right on, good for y'all. But normally, that's about the statistics wise of how things roll around here. But building materials being lighter, homes are tighter together, and energy systems are smarter. But all that progress has created a dangerous environment. And one of the biggest, lithium-ion batteries. These batteries are in everything. Everybody, the new big fad in hunting is e-bikes. Hunters are able to get back further in the woods, little less detected, don't have to buy the big side-by-side, stuff like that. So people are buying these e-bikes and they're riding them through the woods. But also something that I'm seeing more and more uptick on are golf cart fires. And we're getting more and more subdivisions who are turning into golf cart subdivisions, and people are riding these golf carts around. They're charging them in their garage, and the batteries explode, causing the garage to catch fire, and it's just shooting through the roof. But not only those, you're talking about new tools, laptops, solar storage systems, and even vehicles. But when they fell hard. Here's a few facts just for you. Lithium-ion batteries can enter what's called a thermal runaway. It's a chain reaction where one cell overheats and ignites the other. And it's not just one spark, it's a domino effect of explosions inside that battery. And there's no safety on that. So if one happens, there's nothing that can stop it. It's just going to continue to happen. Continuing on with some random facts, temperatures of these types of fires can reach up to around 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit or around 1,000 degrees Celsius, easily melting through aluminum and setting off, surrounding materials. The toxics and flammable gases that these batteries releases are so easy to light the smoke. One little spark on a heavy fueled smoke, it's gone. Make sure if you are responding to these types of fires that you keep your SCBA on until overhaul is completed. I'm as guilty as anybody else. As soon as we start doing overhaul, little light smoke, never hurt anybody, but that's how things like cancer happen. Because we get too comfortable, we're a little tired, you've been busting your butt on a fire, and you just want to take off that air pack because it's heavy. You don't feel like it's a necessity because most of the air is clean. Be careful doing that on these. These fires reignite, very, very quickly. Sometimes maybe not so quickly. Could be hours or days later. Even after they appear extinguishes, that means overhaul and post-incident monitoring are critical. Departments like FDNY and the London Fire Brigade are now tackling these incidents separately because they're raising so fast. FD&I reported 277 lithium-related fires in 2024, up from 268 the year before that. Most stem from damaged, overcharged, or unapproved aftermarket batteries, especially in things like e-bikes and scooters. And here's the kicker. There's still no universal standard of how to extinguish this type of fire. Some departments use large water flows for cooling. Others are testing encapsulating agents or immersion tanks. So when you're doing pre-plans and updating your SOPs, ask, do we have a plan for lithium-ion incidents? Because, like it or not, these fires are now part of the new normal. So let's shift gear just a little bit and talk a little bit about staffing. I think it's no secret that most fire departments everywhere are stretched thin. Call volumes are up, expectations are up, but staffing hasn't kept up. Now, sometimes that's based off of your administration at the department. It might be your administration with your local government, or it could be a blend. Across the country, firefighters are being asked to do more with less, and it's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. It starts to feel normal because we make it happen, because our job is to adapt and overcome, no matter what the situation is. But we can't let that mindset take hold. Minimum staffing is a safety standard, not a budget line. You have to ask, what is a life worth? If you can go to your local government or your administration and you present the facts, because that's, facts are facts, and you say, look, we are responding with this number of people to this incident, and everybody else around us is responding with a much higher number. Yet you want us to do the same thing that they're doing because you might live in their zone, or the elected official might live in that zone. But you have to take time to explain to these people who are not in the front lines, who do not come out and ride with us, who just see us driving down the road and they see a fire truck and they wave at us, and it means the world to them when we honk the horn, hit the lights, whatever. But they just don't understand why staffing is so important. I do want to give a shout out to our brothers and sisters at the Atlanta Firefighters Association, Local 134, who have been leading the charge on their campaign for 4 firefighters on every engine and ladder. I see it all over my social media, and I think they're doing a great job down there. They actually just got, not too long ago, a MOU or a collective bargaining for their members as well, which I think is awesome, especially in a southern state. But their message is very simple, and it's backed by data. 4 isn't just a number, it's your safety. That's their slogan. They've been pushing through public outreach, social media, the city hall. Their campaign points out that with 4-person crews, you can perform 2 simultaneous searches, improving the task efficiency and reduce physical strain on your firefighters. And this isn't just union talk. Research backs this up. A national study by the NIST found that 4-person engine companies completed key Fireground tasks 25% faster than 3-person crews, meaning faster rescues, quicker water on the fire, and better survivability outcomes. Atlanta's own stats show that the city lost 8 citizens in structure fires in one recent year, and their local claims that 4-person crews can perform about 80% faster than a 3-person crew. Departments like South Metro Fire Rescue have even adopted policies that no interior operations begin until 4 firefighters are on the scene, aligning with the NFPA 1710 standard of safety and principles. But here's the thing, why are we making our guys and girls choose life over their own safety? Because we have all taken the oath, we're going to put our citizens above ourselves and stuff like that, and that's fine. And then we turn around in the same breath to say no one's more important than yourself and your partner. But what happens when you show up 2-man crew, 3-man crew, and there's a child inside, and there's a mother standing outside yelling, "Save my baby, save my baby," and you don't have enough people for in and out, the whole 2 in, 2 out rule? Well, are we going to get in trouble if we go in without the other 2 people being safety outside? Probably. Am I going to do it anyways? Probably. Because if I sit there and let someone die, knowing that I could have give a opportunity to save them, I can sleep a lot better at night. There's a saying, you risk a lot to save a lot, risk a little to save a little. And I think everybody that has ever ended up on a fire memorial wall risk a lot because they chose to do what needed to be done. So I say all that to say, Atlanta Firefighters Association, my hat is off to you. Keep leading the way and reminding everyone that safety isn't negotiable. So I talked about it just a minute ago about the mental choice of, do you have to pick between standing in the front yard, listening to a mother scream about her child that's inside because you don't have enough staffing, and how is that going to affect you? Mental health, we just got done. September was mental health, and let me go ahead and throw this in there too. I'm getting ready to get married. The podcast is very important to me. I've had to take a little bit of a break. I'm probably going to have to take another break, so the podcast might come out a little staggered. But September was Mental Health Awareness Month, and the fire service has made a lot of progress when it comes to mental health, especially here in Tennessee. We passed state legislator 2 years ago now, the Dust and Samples Act, that allows mental health issues that happen on duty. So you have to relate it back to a call or calls, um, but it makes it a workman's comp issue. The fire service, again, made great progress, but we're not completely there yet. In 2023 alone, more firefighters and EMTs died by suicide than in the line of duty. That should stop us cold right there. Departments are building peer support programs, chaplain services, and using the national resources like the IAFF's behavioral health program, but culture still makes or breaks these tools. Company officers, I'm going to talk to you right now. If your crew never hears you talk about mental health wellness, they'll assume your silence is the rule. They will assume that we do not talk about this. And that's wrong. As company officers, chief officers, captains, whatever level you are at, admin or on the field, you should be talking about mental health. Just because we did it one way for so many years where we don't talk about mental health because it's just part of the job. It's just this, it's just that. Well, I had it hard, but so should you. No, that's complete garbage. Officers, talk to your crews about that. Talk about how there are resources out there, because someone might not feel comfortable talking to you, but they might talk to one of your crew members and they can pass along some information too. But if they see you open up, you check in on them after maybe a hard call, whether you think it's a hard call or not, just ask about them. Use your resources yourself. You set a new tone for what the next generation is going to be able to do. Toughness isn't about pretending you're fine. It's about taking care of yourself so you can keep taking care of others. We need to normalize that conversation in every firehouse, from the rookies to all the bugles in the world. Now, we're sidestepping for a second. Let's talk about a little bit of the new technology. A few months ago, I had the opportunity to check out a new product, and I don't want to say it on here because I don't want to get in trouble about advertising when I don't have permission to. But it's basically an underwater sonar that's held handheld, that you squeeze a trigger, you go about 180 degrees, and then you let go, and it kind of picks up through AI different points that are suspected human features. Um, and you can send a diver out, a rescue swimmer, whatever you have, to that location in line with that handheld device, and it tells you how far out. It doesn't quite tell you how deep, but how far out, and then you can drop down into the water column and figure out what's going on. That's amazing because, especially in our area, we have dark water. We don't have vast open sea 5 feet in front of you water. We see maybe 5 inches. So anything to help speed up these rescues. Another cool thing that I'm seeing a lot of departments go to are drones. Drones are being used for missing people, fire attack, pre-planning, um, being able to deliver life vests to people trapped in waters. Y- And, it's also doing storm damage. So you have a big tornado or a hurricane come through your area and you need to do quick mitigation, reports or sit reps or anything like that. And you can fly that drone a lot quicker than in a higher up area too, than necessarily all the boots on the ground. You still got to put boots on the ground, but the cost of running a helicopter is a lot more expensive to a state than running drones. So it's also might be a little bit more expensive up front, but it beats the heck out of paying for a whole helicopter and the time running it. Also, another thing, AI can help predict call patterns, but it can't replace human judgment. So when you're using AI, just remember it's kind of a suggestion. Make sure that your expertise and time in the field is being backed up by what you're using it for. Use technology, but don't let it use you. It's kind of like EMS. Treat your patient, not the equipment. Invest in the training, then the tech, because the most valuable tool on any scene is still the person wearing the gear. Before we close, I just want to talk about one more thing, and I really think this is getting important. And I've heard a lot of people talking about this lately. But shifting the culture, leadership today takes more than rank. We're managing new generations, new expectations, more public visibility than ever before. Some things never change, though. Trust, accountability, consequences still matter the most. Consistency still matter the most. Leaders don't just give orders, they set the tone. If your people know you'll get in there and do it, you'll go to bat for them, you'll walk through fire for them, they will go through fire for you too, literally. We need officers who listen, communicate, and make their people feel seen. Not only officers listen to officers, but officers listening to their subordinates. Because leadership that only shows up on scenes isn't leadership, it's supervision. Real leadership happens in the bay and around the table and in the quiet moments that build trust long before that next call. The fire service is evolving, and it's up to you, me, and all of us to evolve with it. From the hazards of lithium-ion batteries to the push for safer staffing, to mental health, to leadership and training, it all ties back to one thing: keeping firefighters and communities safe. We owe it to the next generation to leave this job a lot better than we found it, and not necessarily haze people because they weren't around when it was quote unquote rough. Thanks for tuning in to this Fire Bay podcast. If this episode hit home with you, share it with your crew or your chief and keep the conversations going. But more importantly, stay safe, stay sharp, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast. If you liked what you heard, please like, follow, and share this podcast. Do you have a topic you want us to talk about? Email us at thefirebay@gmail.com.